Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. Back from our break. Excuse me. Well, alluding back to the next topic real quick. One thing I will say about the Jets is that of all the teams, I didn't expect them to be 1-5 and then relatively be out of playoff contention. I didn't see it coming whatsoever. Like I didn't expect that to happen relatively at all, especially with the way Todd Bowles had that team on the uptick and everything like that. Like, that was a real surprise to me. But moving on to our next topic, y'all, we're going to actually move to the AFC North, and discuss a certain Vontaze Burfict who was given a $75,000 fine today by the NFL after two incidents that he actually was involved with when it came to a late hit he had on the New England Patriots tight end Marcellus Bennett, where he cut Bennett's knees on a play where he wasn't even involved in the play, and then also a play where he stepped into a pile at the goal line after LeGarrette Blount rushed in for a touchdown and appeared to stomp on a LeGarrette Blount's leg. Nigel, what do you think of this, man? Do you think that Vontaze Burfict deserved to be suspended, or do you think the fine suffices?
I feel like suspended. It goes on and on about how prior history with that, and the man has a rap sheet, and actually has the rap sheet. So going back to 2013, week 3, hits the defenseless James Jones, strikes tight end Ryan Taylor in the groin. Week 6 of 2013, fined $8,000 for face mask. 2013, week 8, $21,000, hitting wide receiver with the crown. 2014, week 16, $25K for intentionally twisting Cameron Greg Olsen's ankles. 2015, week 14, fined $70,000 for roughing the passer, face mask, and unnecessary roughness. 2015, week 17, fined $50,000 for an illegal hit. Wild card 2016. 3-game suspension, multiple violations, and hit on Antonio Brown, fined $500,000, $3,400. And then this week, $75K. With how they handed out suspensions before, I mean, it's not like it takes much to get a suspension in the league. I mean, Tom Brady got suspended 4 games for playing some footballs. Yeah. So when you have a player who's racked up nearly $800,000 in fines in 3 years, who's constantly, every single season, shown he's reckless, and then shows another instance where he's willing to be reckless, and you say he didn't definitively step on LeGarrette Blount's leg. But again, he's put himself in a situation where
it's up to question.
So you have to send a message to let him know and let the league know that you're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior and constant behavior that's been shown by him.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's at one point. I remember the topic conversation was, would they even go as far as to suspend Burfict, because it was like, well, the Bengals themselves, if the league didn't hand down a suspension, because it was like excuse me. It was like there was just so much going on from him. Like all the instances that you've listed, you just listed like a guy with such a long rap sheet. It's like you can't, when it comes to that sort of thing, you got to know where your boundary is and know that you can't cross that boundary.
Which he has not shown he knows where that boundary is. Which is my biggest issue in the whole entire thing. It's just he's never seemed to know where that boundary is. And so at what point you have to stop it before it goes too far and you just cross that boundary and seriously injure somebody. You don't want another incident like a Sue where he stepped on somebody's ankle, or no, I don't think he'd go as far as Albert Haynesworth pulling a guy's helmet off and stomping on his head or anything like that. But without giving him any kind of punishment, you set yourself up for him to be that aggressive and step over the line by that much. So, as much as they go on about player safety and all that, I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done anything about him.
So, what do you think do you think this impacts how the league is viewed because they didn't suspend him?
I mean, do people really think the NFL isn't hypocritical already? I mean, I don't think Roger Goodell has a great reputation among most fans. I think most fans think, I mean, the case with Tom Brady kind of really dragged it. The NFL, I think, through it a little bit in terms of.
Why you think that?
I mean, come on.
What?
The whole just not letting it go over some football.
Well, if you think about it, they it's not that they didn't let it go, but they just appealed the decision more and more. That's what it was. They appealed it, and then he appealed. So when he appealed, that's what kept. They just counted each other with one appeal.
When did it first start?
It started with them going after.
Year. What year did it start?
2014.
When did it get resolved?
2016.
Brandon, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was not a big enough deal to go with 2 years of keeping it constantly in the media. It did nothing for the NFL. It didn't boost the NFL's it didn't boost.
But the thing is, the players. It's not like the Players Association didn't want to have it. They didn't do nothing to keep out the media either.
But again, it didn't do anything for the NFL. It didn't make them look better. It didn't make anything. If anything, it made them look petty because they kept it going over something so trivial.
Well, I think the reason why they put it out there and kept it going is because Tom Brady was the guy that was challenging the NFL's authority. He was the guy that was the face of you challenging the NFL's power. So of course they're going to make it public so that nobody else will get the like-mindedness to try and challenge their power. Imagine if the NFL would have lost that case, and then the floodgates would have opened with players trying to challenge the decision of the commissioner, even though it was collectively bargained that he had that power.
Yeah, it was.
So it's like. I mean, if you would go to any. I mean, I think you would go to any to make sure your authority stays as.
So, do you side with the NFL in that case?
What do you mean?
Do you side with the NFL? Simple as that.
Like, do I think he? No.
Let me rephrase that. So the Deflategate did not affect your opinion of the NFL at all. Is what I'm trying to ask.
It affected my opinion of Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell is the face of the NFL. He's the biggest figure in the NFL.
I don't know about that.
I
don't know about that. I don't think he's the biggest face in the NFL.
Yeah, he is.
I think everybody's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady or Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell is the shield of the NFL.
If I ask most people, who do you know on the random side of the street? I bet you most people will say Tom Brady.
Tom Brady and Roger. All right, so if he's not the face of the NFL, he's one of the most notable people of the NFL.
But it's only because that's in the NFL world. I'm talking about people that.
I know.
Yes, because even outside.
If you ask casual sports fans,
yes,
I think they would know who Roger Goodell is.
I think they would know who Tom Brady is. More often than not.
I just said you're right. Tom Brady's probably the biggest. I said Roger Goodell is one of the most notable people.
But that's my point though. It makes Roger Goodell look bad, but when Tom Brady is the guy that's associated with the case, yeah. Tom Brady is the guy that's pushed at the forefront. So but and then when you find out the reasoning, I know I said it made Roger Goodell look bad. It didn't make the NFL look bad. It didn't think the owners look bad. It made Roger Goodell look bad because you're the commissioner hand the punishment, and the players collectively bargained for that CBA. So he had the power to give out that punishment. That's the only reason why he won that case. It's because they said that he had the power to be judge and executioner. I don't know who. I guess the players are more concerned about in terms of health and player safety, and then their contract situations and getting more money and guaranteed contracts. Even though they don't have fully guaranteed contracts, but they wanted to get more money in their contracts. The fact of the matter was that they let the commissioner have that power, and you see in other leagues with Major League Baseball, you see with the NBA, those contracts fully guaranteed. The NFL still doesn't have fully guaranteed contracts, and then you guys, I don't know if that was the point of emphasis for them or not, but then he got all that power, and then that's what happened. That's exactly what happened with. In other cases where he over suspended people, you could say he might have over suspended with Josh Gordon at one point when he gave him a heavy suspension. At this point, he gave Randy Gregory 10 games from the Cowboys, and then he gave the dude from the Eagles, Lane Johnson. He gave him 10 games, so he's not set to come back till week 16. It's just like how much power did you give one guy? I mean, even with this decision, Vontaze Burfict now, it's actually amazing to see Roger Goodell exhibit restraint. And
I'm actually really surprised by that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I would have actually expected Roger Goodell to go above and beyond on this suspension as opposed to holding back and not fully just, handling down the law on him. But in terms of Burfict, What do you think that? Because the Bengals haven't played up to the standard that many expected them to play up to. I mean, they're not second in the AFC North right now. They've lost a string of games that many are really surprised to. They got whooped by the Cowboys. Then they lose to the Patriots. I mean, but I'm just saying like this in terms of like for the team that they were last season, they were one of the top teams in the AFC, and now they've pretty much been relegated to. Yeah, they've been getting whipped along the line. Last year, then they only lose like 3 games. So it's like, what is like the spell card for this team? What's going on with this team right now? I mean, we have this stuff going on with Vontaze Burfict and Marvin Lewis. I don't know what's going on with him. How do you see this season playing out for the rest of the season playing out for them?
Well, now that Ben's out for 4 to 6 weeks, I mean, if they want to make a run, and I think Joe Flacco has a shoulder injury, but I think he's playing Sunday. So if they're gonna make a push, they got a 4 to 6 week window to get up to first place and maybe take a game lead. But with the way they've been playing recently, I mean, it's asking for a lot.
Well,
and coming up, I mean, they have the Browns. They have the Browns next week. Then the Redskins, Giants, Bills, Ravens, Eagles, Browns, Steelers. They don't have a hard schedule to close out. I mean, outside of the Bills, really, none of those teams are dominant. The Redskins are a good team. The Giants are a good team. Ravens are good. The Eagles, well, who knows how the Eagles. See if the Eagles from what happened last week. But if they don't rebound, it's a team. The Browns, they have 2 victories there. They play the Steelers once, and the Ravens twice. I mean, and the Texans once. So that's a winnable schedule.
Do you see them getting eclipsing the Steelers? No.
I mean, you asked me to put my faith in the team that routinely has only really succeeded when they don't have to play playoff winning record. Teams with winning records. So, do I see them eclipsing the Steelers? No, not really. Unless the Steelers go, I mean, Landry Jones comes out and lays an egg, and they go 1-5.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sure, they can eclipse them, but then I still think Ravens will take the division. So it's eclipsing the Steelers would be great, but do I win the division? No.
Yeah. That's one tricky thing about the Bengals. It's just like I just don't ever know what to trust them. And then when stuff like this goes on, it's like it just makes me doubt how disciplined they are. Like Marvin Lewis, when he spoke about the whole Vontaze Burfict situation, this was his quote on it. So he pretty much was saying that he doesn't believe Burfict intended to do it, and that he was alluding to Tom Brady throwing. Tom Brady. So for those of you that are listening, I'm gonna try and draw a visual representation for you. So Martellus Bennett was in the middle of the field, and Tom Brady pump fakes to him as if he's gonna pass to him. So Burfict runs at Bennett and tackles him in the knees, even though Tom Brady never releases the ball to throw to Martellus Bennett, and instead Brady throws to a different receiver. So, and then obviously the stomp on LeGarrette Blount play, he just pretty much walks towards the pile on the goal line, and it appears to step on the back of LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount gets up and he starts shoving Burfict. So you thought that there was some physical activity going on down there that he was the start of. So that's why when there was a new angle that came out that showed the back leg, the back angle, and it showed that he may have not actually stepped on.
Y'all, we're about to go to break real quick. We'll be right back in about 30 seconds. All right, keep it here.